Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. I'm Nicola Barreto. Let's take a look at the headlines. Contract to be awarded soon for construction of the UWI Penal Debe campus. Secondary school students to benefit from a presentation of scholarly materials from former UWI lecturer and independent senator. And in sport, Wayne Cunningham fills us in on some exciting basketball action. Thank you for joining us to our top story. By the end of this month, a contract is expected to be awarded for the construction of the University of the West Indies Penal Debe campus. This from Minister of Science, Technology and Tertiary Education, Minister Senator Fazal Karim, who spoke at the launch of a YTEP program in Woodland. More in this report from Verna Barrett.
I want to tell you that I am waiting in anticipation of two things. I've asked the principal of the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus, Professor Sankat, to try to assist me in ensuring that by or before the 30th of April this month, we are going to award the contract to start construction at Penal Debe campus.
This from Science, Technology and Tertiary Education Minister Senator Fazal Karim, who continued on with the good news for the Southland. He is announcing that an OJT office will also be opened in Debe.
We are going to be opening very soon. Member of Parliament Rupnarayan is already affording us the opportunity to temporarily locate very close to the NASC facility on the Debe stretch while we renovate the Debe facility. And possibly, as yet, I'm just to confirm, and maybe she will announce that later on to you, at an office nearby, we want to bring to you an OJT office. And this is not only going to be a place where you can go and fill out an OJT form to get our work. Listen, we have to bring these services to you.
Minister Karim adds that SEA students for this year will be exposed to a 2-week computer camp over the August vacation in Debe. He says this would be ideal in equipping them with the computer skill required to use their laptops when they go over into Form 1. The minister also announced that IT classes are scheduled to commence at another Southeast Community Center.
It is my view that while we are extending to you education and training skills, you have to compete as well in the world today. And one of the ways in which you will compete is if you know the technology and you can interface with that technology. And I've asked the CEO of YTEP, and the Member of Parliament has agreed, at your Sunset Community Center, not too far from here, we are going to put some computers in there through YTEP to start information technology classes for you.
Verna Barrett, News 4.
When News 4 continues, the community of Woodland gets its own YTEP training facility. Stay with us.
Abuse is when the big people that I love
tell me things that hurt my feelings.
Abuse is when my mommy and daddy hit me for no reason. Abuse is when I feel neglected.
Abuse is when my rights are ignored.
There is no reason why our children should be abused. They are our future. The Ministry of the People and Social Development is committed to the protection of children's rights. We must safeguard their future. Together and together alone, we can do it.
Children have rights too. There is no excuse for child abuse.
Personal music players can stop you from being aware of your surroundings. Always be aware of your surroundings and periodically look over your shoulder to prevent anyone from sneaking up on you. Remember, crime prevention is everyone's business. A message from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
You ever wonder what we just do on a daily basis? Well, let me enlighten you on some of our roles and responsibilities. Our hours of work are from 10 to 5:30. We also scan and mark beaches with flags. Advise beachgoers on safety and safety measures. We even administer first aid and CPR when necessary. One of our main priority is to take all preventative measures and to respond to all beach emergencies and rescues. We also monitor water conditions as well as weather conditions because you don't want to be caught in rain and all of a sudden, whoosh! Lightning strike and cut you a new mohawk. So people, be beat smart.
Welcome back. Oropouche West MP Stacey Roopnarine says the community of Woodland and environs will be better equipped for the world of work with their very own YTAP training program at the Woodland Community Center. She was speaking at the launch of the community-based program at Pluck Road in Woodland, where scores of excited residents gathered for the opening ceremony. Verna Bath was present and files this report.
Developing the minds of persons throughout the various communities. These are the words of Oropouche West MP Stacey Roopnarine, who spoke at the launch of the YTAP training program at the Woodland Community Center. Minister Roopnarine says with the various programs being offered at YTAP, persons young and not so young will be able to obtain advanced training and certification to allow them access into the world of work.
So we have to go one step further. And we have to ensure that we develop our human resource, we develop our people. Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessar, has always said that her government is a people-centric one. And for any country to develop, its people must first be developed. And so that is why we are here today, to offer you, the community, access to this YTAP program, to allow you to educate yourselves, to become certified as well, so that you can have an opportunity to move on from programs such as URP and CPEP, which some of you may currently be enrolled in.
The Oropouche West MP says the opportunity extended to the very fortunate community allows them to think even further into opening their own businesses.
Right here in our community, we now have access to this YTAP program, where you yourselves could come and learn. You can bring your children, they can come and learn. And from this, they can become entrepreneurs in their own way.
While pledging her commitment to continue working closely with her community members, Ms. Roopnarine is urging persons to come forward with ideas on what other programs are needed in the area.
If you come to me and you say what is in need of the people of the area, then we can bring those services directly to you. So that way you also have a say in the development of your community.
Verna Bath, News 4.
And residents of the area are praising the government and by extension the Ministry of Science, Technology and Tertiary Education for launching what they describe as a much needed program in the area. News 4 sought some responses from residents on the initiative.
Truly and really, I am really overwhelmed about it because at the area, this Woodland area as well as the Pluck Road area has needed something like this for the longest while. We have a lot of unemployed youths, and even myself being self-employed. I mean, I just heard about it yesterday and I took the time off to come today. Right now I am interested in the graphic design course. I am also interested in the interior decorating course, which I heard about.
It will be good. I think plenty of people will learn how to do agriculture, and I think for me, I joined the program. I want to learn especially the grow box. I want to learn it, I think, and I find it will be very good for me. And I like what the minister say about the 2 weeks the computer for the children who write in essay. I like that too. That's very nice.
Well, I think it was a nice initiative and for progress, take people out of poverty. Education is the best way to go. And we look forward for all these programs into the area.
Firstly, I am from Suchitra Spina, right? And normally I am based with the Woodland Community Center. But I think it is good to bring the people together, especially the youths and the people, because normally in Woodland here it's real hard to get people coming together. So I think it's a good thing.
I think it's a very good initiative on behalf of the MP. However, as a member of the Village Council, we have been asking for courses like these for the other residents of the area. because of the most of them were Carney employees and so on. So now that Carney has closed down, and we have a lot of the villagers who got the 2 acres from Carney, and you know they cannot. Well, a lot of them would need courses like these so that they could help them to plant and to better themselves.
Sport is up next when News 4 continues.
We are reporting from communities across the country. People are calling Nallis Libraries their library. Tell me, why is Nallis your library?
My library is where I can have fun learning.
My library is helping me earn better grades with online research resources.
My library is my gateway to the world of information.
My library is providing access to the differently abled. As a visually impaired person, I can envision limitless possibilities.
My library is making my world truly worldwide with free internet access.
My library is helping me keep an eye on my health with access to the virtual health library via the Nallis website.
Nallis is my library.
Now, if you are in a flood-prone area, move your valuable items above expected floodwaters.
Construct flood barriers to prevent water from entering your home or building.
The next big problem that causes flooding is the dumping of garbage and appliances by the river. How much times we'll say to put the old stove and fridge by the river bank? Listen, it's going to create even more flooding.
Here are some other precautions you can take.
Turn off gas and electricity. Unplug all electrical appliances.
Put dangerous liquids like strong chemicals and flammable liquids in a safe place and close those containers tightly.
Place important documents, passport, deed, birth certificate, in waterproof containers or sealed plastic bags.
Common sense now. Park your vehicle in an area that will not flood.
Secure pets on higher ground.
Have an emergency plan for your family or business so you'll know what to do beforehand, where you will go, and how you will deal with the flooding situation.
That was some real good tips, Dee. But at the end of the day, flooding takes place, and if indeed you become a victim of flooding, here is the hookup. You need to contact your regional corporation or the ODPM at 800 ODPM.
Great, Jason. Remember, damages caused by flooding can be minimized, so let's plan and prepare.
In order to safeguard our family, our community, and our country.
A message from the Ministry of National Security, Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management.
Thank you for staying with us. In sport, the Defense Force and Petro Jazz met in Game 7 of the final of the Super 10 Basketball League Thursday night at the Jean Pierre Sports Complex. Petro Jazz neutralized their opponents in Game 6 to bring the series down to the wire. But on this occasion, it was a different story. Wayne Cunningham fills us in on all the action.
History was made on Thursday night at the Jean Pierre Sports Complex when a sold-out crowd turned out to witness Game 7 in the Super 10 Basketball League between Petro Jazz and the Defense Force. The capacity audience was the first for a basketball final, but this was anticipated after Petro Jazz overpowered the Army, Coast Guard and Air Guard crew in Game 6. The Minister of Sport was present once again to witness what promised to be an epic battle. The opening salvos kept it close as Jazz held a slight edge. But that would be the last time the team from South would be in the lead as the military men took over to take a 21-13 lead at the end of the first quarter. Petro Jazz had some decent moves in the second period, but the Army was having none of it as coach Mervyn Unks Jackson maintained his game face. National forward Stephen Leiter Lewis making a point or two here with this dunk. As the Defense Force pulled away to a 14-point halftime lead. The third started well for Jazz as Siddiqui Guerra feeds Wilfred Benjamin for 2 of his 14 points. But once again, the Army took charge, forcing Barry Stewart to call multiple timeouts for the Oilmen. Despite his efforts and that of the supporting Siparia Rhythm section with former Olympic quarter miler Ian Morris on the irons, they still trailed big going into the final quarter. Not even Siddiqui's heroics could stop a rampant defense force as Derek Boxhill had 12 and Wilt Vincent 14 points, but the big player was Leiter Lewis with a game-high 32 points. That effort led the defense force to an 89-67 victory after 7 grueling games in the Super 10 basketball final. Sports Minister Anil Roberts joined the team and the Chief of Defense Staff, Brigadier Kenrick Maharaj, for a well-deserved celebration. Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
The Ministry of Education has announced a partnership with former UWI lecturer and independent senator Professor Ramesh Deosaran to provide the nation's schools with access to his extensive research work. The move is said to provide the answer to numerous requests from several principals and teachers to provide more information on several social issues. We hear more in this report from Kimberly Ramkalawan.
Secondary school students stand to benefit from the published works of former independent senator and criminologist UWI Professor Ramesh Deosaran. Today, Professor Deosaran donated over $250,000 worth in books to the Ministry of Education. The books are expected to assist students in the areas of Caribbean studies, history and communications. Speaking at the press conference to highlight the move, Professor Deosaran said the books would assist in the understanding of several public issues.
There are books dealing with crime prevention, there are books dealing with political history, there are books dealing with a range of public affairs matters. And over the years, ladies and gentlemen, the students and the teachers have been asking me for information on these subjects. And of course, I have been striving to deliver in response.
The books were presented to Education Minister Dr. Tim Gopi Singh, who said the donation of the books was in response to calls from teachers across the nation for materials on these topics.
My understanding is that over the years, school principals, teachers, and especially secondary school students have been asking for this information on crime, criminal justice, delinquency, poverty, and a range of other social sciences issues. And hence, he has had to respond to them on an individual basis, treating with all the requests, but believe now that if we have these books into the school libraries, the students will be able to go to the libraries and get their answers themselves.
Professor Deosaran underscored the need to bridge the gap in today's generation's awareness of certain key historical moments that stand out in the history of Trinidad and Tobago.
One of the books in particular is written about the Muslimin insurrection of 1990. It gives the students and those researchers, people who are doing projects, a reasonable understanding of how it started, why it started, how it could have been prevented, and what could prevent such occurrences in the future. All in all, it helps to make knowledge accessible to students.
The books are said to represent over 20 years of Professor Deosaran's active research in the areas of criminology and social sciences. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
News 4 continues right after the break.
Carjacking has become very prevalent in recent times. Certain makes of vehicles are more preferred targets for criminals. When approaching intersections or junctions, ensure that all doors are locked and windows are wound up if possible. Remember, crime prevention is everyone's business. A message from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
Meet the Kissoons. It's Saturday, and everyone has to do their part to clean the house. Everything was flowing perfectly until...
Daddy, where do you water going? No.
Don't let this happen to you. Pay your bill today.
The Water and Sewage Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. Water security for every sector. Deliver it. Sustain it.
Hi, I'm Natasha, and like most Trinbagonians, I love the beach. The beach can be fun, but we have to be tsunami smart and know the warning signs. You're at the beach and you feel the earth shake. Run. You see the water moving an unusual distance out from the shore. Run. You hear a strange roar from the sea. Run. If you experience any of these warning signs, run to higher ground. Be tsunami smart and know the natural warning signs. They could save your life.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management, United States Agency for International Development, Caribbean Disaster and Emergency Management Agency, UWI Seismic Research Center, and the European Union.
Over 200 road rehabilitation projects employing some 3,000 persons are set to commence soon. Works Minister Jack Warner is hopeful that the projects, which will target all areas of the country, will see an end to fiery road protests that have taken place in certain parts of the country in recent months. Kimberly Ramkalawan has more in this report.
Works Minister Jack Warner is assuring that citizens will receive value for their money as government embarks on its widespread road rehabilitation project. Speaking at the launch of the $400 million infrastructure program in Rio Claro, Minister Warner said that he remains committed to taking the country's infrastructure into the modern era.
I will ensure good return on our investment as the People's Partnership Government moves to develop the infrastructure of our nation and bring this country into the 21st century.
Minister Warner hopes the project would bring an end to the days of disgruntled residents staging fiery protest.
I am here today to let you know that the launch of this roads rehabilitation program is just the beginning of the realization of my dream for Trinidad and Tobago. A dream where excellence is a manifestation of our workmanship. My ministry wants to bring an end to uneven road surfaces. We want to bring a drastic reduction to landslips by providing adequate support for our roads and drains.
The project will span across all districts of Trinidad and Tobago, something Minister Warner says he's proud to be delivering to the people of TNT.
The first phase of this program, which our Honorable Prime Minister will launch today, will involve 203 projects, an increase from the 166 which we had promised to do last week. And these projects shall be done at a cost of $400 million, of which $125 million is being spent on local government roads and $275 million being spent on roads and bridges under the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure.
The second phase is expected to come at a cost of an estimated $200 million and is set to commence within the next 3 months. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Nicola Barreto. Do have a wonderful evening.